Hi, I'm Beth with TB Properties Buys Land. Today we're going to discuss how to keep yourself safe from a scam when you are finally ready to sell your vacant land to a land investor, okay? So while I can't speak for all land investors, I can speak on behalf of TB Properties Buys Land and share with you a few things. The first thing I would look out for if you're considering selling your vacant land to a land investor is one, are they closing through a title company or are they going to self-close? Self-closing means that they're going to close out the transaction and have it recorded with the county themselves. They're not going to use a title company. They will find a way to pay you, whether they are paying you with a cashier's check, a bank check, or if they're going to have a notary come to your door and give you a check once you sign the paperwork. There can be some red flags when dealing with a land investor who wants to self-close. So my recommendation, not legal advice, but my recommendation is to make sure that you're closing through a title company that's licensed to close transactions within the county where your property is located. The title company is going to prepare the title commitment. They're going to make sure that the paperwork is done correctly, it's recorded with the county, but most importantly, they are going to require certified funds from the buyer, which is going to be a cashier's check directly from the bank or a bank wire. And once they have the money in their account and once they have all the paperwork, then will they record with the county and change hands your property from you to the buyer, TB Properties Buys Land, or whoever you're working with. Okay, so you know that you're gonna get paid because you're working with the title company. Okay, so that's one great way to protect yourself. Number two is take a look at the contract. Is the contract really long? Is it confusing? Is there a lot of fine print involved in that, or is it simple and clear and easy to figure out? Here at TB Properties Buys Land, we don't want to confuse you. We want to make it very simple. And so we have one page. We very clearly call out your property and all the individual items that we're paying for when it comes to closing costs, so that you know that whatever we quote you is what you're going to walk away with. But that's another way to make sure that you're not being scammed when it comes to selling your vacant land. Another thing, feel free to reach out to the title company that they have selected or select your own title company within that county. But make sure that you are able to contact the title company directly and ask any questions that you might have. It would be a red flag, in my opinion, if the person that you're working with or the entity that you're working with does not want you to call the title company. You should be able to call them and ask them any questions that you might have. The title company should be in touch with you directly to find out how you want to be paid. We had a young lady who was selling her property, and she called up the title company and she asked questions. Hey, have you dealt with TB Properties Buys Land before? Have you worked with them? What do you think about them? And that was perfectly fine. We had done a transaction with them before and they were able to ask some questions. But feel free to do that. I think the more due diligence that you do on your side, the safer that you're going to feel. But a title company is definitely the way to protect you. Again, understanding that purchase agreement. If it's really confusing, I would either consult a professional or consider walking away or, renegotiating the purchase contract. You have all those options because it's your property. So please remember the ball is in your court. One of the great benefits to working with a real estate investor such as TB Properties Buys Land is that we are able to purchase your property quickly. We pay in cash, which means that we're not waiting on a lender, which is oftentimes waiting on an appraiser to get out there, possibly a survey. You're adding months' time, oftentimes, to the purchase when it comes to waiting for all these people and these processes to take place. So we can close quickly, often as fast as 2 weeks in some counties, more likely 4 weeks is what it's looking like in most other counties. And we quote covering all the closing costs so that you're not concerned or losing some money in the transaction when it comes to the closing fees. You know what you're going to walk away with. And so that's really important. So there is a benefit. Also, it's fast. you're not waiting, and I mentioned this earlier, but you're not waiting on the market for the property to sell. Not there is generally a buyer for every property out there, but it might take some time, especially as we're coming up on the colder months. The economy has been cooling. There's a lot of factors out there that might prolong the sale of your property. Working with a real estate investor, we're going to be able to close quickly for you, so you have money in your pocket a lot faster. So if you have any questions about safety in the transaction, working with TB Properties Buys Land, you have specific questions, we're happy to answer any of those for you. Feel free to reach out to you. We look forward to working with you. Thanks again for listening.